and Plump Foundation, but also the Harold Washington Foundation and the People's Margin Corporation. And we got something special, extra, coming up on April 15th, 2024. We are making sure, and we need all the help we can get with everybody telling the aldermen, their aldermen in Chicago, to vote for Mayor Harold Lee Washington birthday to be a legal holiday. You know, Sister Name, they got the St. Patrick's Day, they got the Pride Day, they got the Columbus Day, they got the Pulaski Day. What about Mayor Harold Lee Washington birthday? And that's the greatest day of your life because you was born on that day too, and Dr. Spencer Lee too. So welcome, Zodi. You know, you got the greatest opportunity to spread more pumping up Chicago, America, and the world today. And happy, as they say, leap year, Black History Month, and belated Savior's Day.
Well, thank you, Minister Plump. Yeah, you know, you did an excellent job of promotion of all of the entities that you work with. And, you know, these are things that are memorable. So we appreciate you for
and I want you to
being that person.
Me, Sister Lane, to the Prosperity Partners, you know, so we can spread the good news of entrepreneurship all over Chicago, America, and the world, and also to promote Mayor Washington's birthday, a legal holiday.
Well, I think that's a noble cause.
And we need you to be on our committee, the steering committee, which is the leadership committee.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you so very much, Minister Robert Floyd Plump. And, you know, Stevie Wonder was one that made it a legal holiday for Martin Luther King Jr. So it can be done. You know, private citizens can create legislation that changes things. We know our own Mama D. She created a memorable street for Emmett Till, 71st Street. Now Emmett Till Road, a certain piece of that street. So we appreciate private citizens doing public work and changing public policy. And that's what your company does. And you've created the acronym for that so people remember that. So I think that's quite brilliant. And we're excited that we have such a group of people that are activists. And we're going to talk more about our prosperity partners. And Zoe, of course, she's got to leave us for a little while today. But talk a bit about when a person is perhaps coming up with an acronym that means something and they intend to do business. One of the things we did in building a global media company on air, you know, of course, on air generally means, you know, broadcasting, that sort of thing. And it also stands for Online Network of Associated Internet Radio Hosts. So we built a network of many people who are like us, communicators online, people who have shows that are interactive like ours. You can interact with your audience and get ideas and get to know people and form a network. So we wanted to promote that idea of people interacting online globally and forming that global network. And it's now expanding. We've got a radio network. We're launching our TV network. And of course, we've got 12 years of the Female Solution on radio. And now we're visual. So when people come up with a name, like you mentioned, everybody knew that the China, the name in China that they were familiar with, and they know what it's associated with. So when you're coming up with some letters that mean something, what are some of the things people should think about in terms of, you know, how to make sure what the words that they use connect with what they do as a business?
Well, I think it's more, you can come up with any name you want. Just, well, make sure you don't violate someone else patent for their name. You want to make sure you don't use well, Madonna, if she copyrighted
Right.
the name, so you don't
Right.
use that name.
Right.
But I think it's more, to me, is how you market that name to your customer. And it's a process of educate your customer, because some names can be, my business name also associated with a name for the church in the community, even though we came up the first. So a lot of people use the name, the same name, but it's up to you to educate your client what that name means, the vision you want to them to associate with. And also, I want to emphasize, kind of again, is try not to use your sole proprietor status to do business, because business has a risk, and sometimes you're going to go into partnership, and you don't want to do it in your own name. You always set up a LLC, because LLC means limited liability corporation.
Yes.
And then limited your exposure to future business dispute. Okay.
That's smart.
So that way, you just feel you are protected. And then you can, because it's an LLC, you have control to dissolve it when things go wrong. You just dissolve the partnership, and you are actually dissolve the LLC. You are protected when you go to do business. When you go big and start doing business with other people, you just want to make sure that you are your risk is you are protected from future risk, because when you get richer, you become a target.
That's an important thing to know. We all want to become wealthy and successful and well known, but the flip side of that is that you become a target the more you're known, because not everybody pardon me, not everybody has good intentions. And so the more people that know you, the more you're likely to attract unscrupulous people. So how does a person protect themselves from someone who might be dishonest? A lot of times people who don't know you may call and say, well, I'd like to form a partnership with you, or I'd like to invest in your business, how do you investigate to make sure somebody is reliable if you don't know them personally, but they would like to get involved in your business in perhaps a financial way? How do you make sure they're honest?
Very hard. I almost honestly become a rare commodity in front of money and greed. So even family member can go separate ways, and marriage can go separate ways when you come from money. So you just have to be very careful about this. So do your business by yourself is the best way to protect you from other people. Try not to form partnership unless you feel like you want to limit your loss or risk as much as possible. Don't put everything in that business. You say, okay, I can probably, you write an agreement. Go to a lawyer, write up agreement, and then say, we each gonna put in how much and put it on paper. Everything is you put on the paper. If you cannot have a lawyer to draft a document that describe your relationship and each other's contribution to the business, you cannot do business with anyone. No verbal contracts in the business, and do not No matter how much the people are gonna promise you, you know, it's business about temptation. You have to resist all the temptation. When someone call you, say, hey, and I just a couple of days ago, someone said, oh, I'm going to ship about like a kilo of gold from Africa, and I need like $50,000 now, just for 2 days. Don't do that.
Yes, those
Don't
scams
do that.
come all
It doesn't
over.
matter. You thought that person is very reputable, have a name. Don't do it. You never know what financial situation that person is. They may
Right.
be successful in the past, may not be successful at that moment and after that. So do not, easy money can be a trap.
Yes, I think that is something that everybody who has ever had someone try to claim they're going to give them easy money, it is a trap. You have companies all the time saying, "Oh, you qualified for a $50,000 loan," and they're trying to get access to your bank account information. And if you're greedy, then you end up giving information that they can use to steal from you. And we've got yes, thank you, Viata, our Friday morning host, and Sunday evening host is Grand Rising Sisters, looking and sounding good. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and experience to help us grow. Yes, thank you for tuning in. We are we're coming up on the hour. I know our host has to depart in a moment. One last thing. If people do want to file a corporation. I had a company that I thought was connected to the state, and I went online to file, and I found they were not. And they ripped me off, and I had to get my bank to give me the money back. What's the best way to make sure if you file anything online where you have to do a transaction regarding your business? How do you make sure that the company you're giving money to is actually able to do the thing that they're saying, whether it's incorporate your business or set you up to be LLC, or how do you make sure, because there's a lot of different companies online that are claiming to help businesses, but they're not connected directly to the state or the city. How do you make sure you got the right entity?
Okay, registered company is always with the state. So you can go to the state official website, and then it goes step by step.
Yeah.
You actually, there's always a helpline. If you get stuck, you don't understand, you actually will have called the state, and for the customer service, you can explain. But you have to decide if you want to do sole proprietor, LLC, S corp, C corp. There are 4 times, or partnership. I think if you are not savvy enough to educate yourself on Google yourself, like I'm basically I'm a graduate of a Google University, because I can do a lot of things. I learned so much. Just do Google search. If you don't feel comfortable, do that. My best advice to you is to go to a community college and take a crash course about those business entities before you plunge yourself into the business world, because it's a lot of legal issues, and also you are involved people you involve people that you do not know. You involve with the customers you probably never met, and then in the future, and you involve with the state, the federal, in terms of taxes, many regulations. So I would suggest you to start enroll in the community college, online or in person, because they all have that one to educate yourself. I feel comfortable to do what I do because I have a master degree in business administration. So I'm I'm quite well versed in the business risk. So I know to protect myself and do not take easy money. And also all the people who offer you to help you to register the company, no matter how much, you do not want to give your personal information to that person unless that person is a lawyer, and that even the lawyer degree doesn't guarantee that person is an honest person. There's a lot of starving lawyers just like starving artists. They are out there to make money from you, so they have a financial motive. That's why I be careful about a lawyer. They're as bad as loan sharks. So I do not have much confidence in the lawyer that profession. I would rather to go to a community college to learn the basics and then do things simple. But you first have to understand what you want to do, what kind of business entity you want to have. Like I said, I highly advise against doing business as a sole proprietor. Even you do business as you are a sole proprietor, you open yourself up to all the lawsuit if someone want to just be jealous as you want to bring harm to you. You know, the best way is a C corp. To me, is really protected yourself. But in terms of LLC, also limited to the laws, whatever in the LLC. So, like I said, before you start a business, get educated to create what type of a business entity of yourself, because you actually create another person. That person just doing business is a business person of you.
Yes, that's what a corporation is. It's actually an entity. It's like a person, and they can, and a corporation can make decisions and do things, and it's separate from you. So that is one of the best ways of protecting yourself. But we've got to take another break, and I know you've got to leave us.
Yeah, sorry, my schedule changed today, and but I love to share my experience, and I encourage to create another business person of you, and then just go with it and create a new world for you, and then be financial independent. That's the way to be financial independent, rather than be an employee or salaried slave of another business created by someone else.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much. We're going to come back after this break and talk more about what Zoe just said, creating that financial independence. So start thinking about how to create your brand name. We'll be right back after this, and you have a great day.
You have a good day.
We'll see you next time. And we will be right back after this brief break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be right back. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif. And if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
And okay, that's what we got. Alrighty then. So, what we want to do we've got to connect to our yes, okay, we've got our commercials that need to be connected so that you can hear us clearly. So let's take a moment and come back with another message. We connect our switchboards.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
All right. I think we've got our audio issue worked out here. Okay, that is great. Well, we're certainly glad that you have joined us, and we want all of you, if you're on our on-air radio network, we'll certainly take your call. And if you're on the Blog Talk Radio, we'll take your call. And if you are on our Facebook or YouTube channel, we'll get your remarks. Matter of fact, we've got a couple of comments here. And Grand Rising, the beautiful Queen Zoe Ma. Yes, why go online and pay for school when they can simply learn it from 1 week at a time? That's right, learn it from Zoe Ma. Yes, great. Well, you know, that's what we seek to do, is to be a source of information, and we will let Zoe Ma know that she is a university all in herself, having been an international businesswoman for many years and coming from humble beginnings. So you don't have to come from a wealthy family to create wealth. As a matter of fact, you might decide that you're going to launch the generation that becomes the wealth producers. And this is what we want you to think about. How do you make that transition from employee to perhaps employer? First, becoming a self-employer, and then beginning to pay others to help you do what you do. That's all business is you're doing something and you're making money, and then you start paying other people to help you do what you do to make money. That's all it is. we're made to think it's something more complicated than that. And like Zoe said, you can now, especially nowadays, you can go online even and learn things. You can learn things in a community college. You don't always have to have a master's of business administration. It helps if you understand that business is simply the process of buying and selling. Sometimes we make it more complicated than that. It helps if you understand some of the basic business models that she mentioned: corporations, limited liability corporations, S corporations. It helps. But the real thing is your own personal energy in marketing what you do. That's the main thing you need. You can have all the degrees in the world. How many people do we know that have MBAs and are unemployed and can't figure out a way to sell peanuts on the corner so they can generate enough revenue to pay their rent? But the guy that just came from Mexico can't barely speak English, but he's got a little cart and he's selling peanuts, popcorn, and hot dogs, and he's paying his rent and he's buying property. I'm trying to tell you, it's not that serious. So let's go back to our phone lines. And we've got 773-483 Grand Rising. Thank you for joining us. Give us your name, where you're calling from, and your question or comment regarding how to start a business and create a brand name. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'll start it. This is Cooper James.
Hey, Cooper James, how are you?
Pretty good. I've been a business owner for pretty much all my life. I had a candy store as a kid called Candy City, so I used to make $5 a day. So that was my start. But the names are very important. Like my name Koofy, when I first started with that name maybe 15 years ago, I was that name acronym was really to let people know that we are indigenous to America. That was the whole concept. I used the Koofy. Koofy is a spiritual name, a Koofy hat.
Ah, yes, yes.
I was explaining how when you put your 10 toes down in America, which also came from me, means you're standing on. You're not standing 1 foot in Africa and 1 foot in America. When you start business, you want to have foundation. Then there was a guy who took my name and started a Koofy Village.
Oh, that's interesting.
On 119th and Western. I was like, whoa, I called him and said, hey, man, I'm Koofy. He goes, what? Yeah. And then, he took the name down. Then I started recognizing people start trying to use my name. This Boston Celtics last week started a company called Sophie, which he's investing $50 million in financial literacy. Now that's Sophie, SOFI, Koofy. You know what I mean? I can't tell people. I always try to interpret what I do. That's why I know I have something great. Okay. And so I was using my name and I was marketing scooters. All these scooters ever came out, before these scooters all ever came out in Chicago, these rental scooters, I got a scooter from the Chinese lady who wanted to market her scooter, a 3-wheel scooter, and she let me drive it all around. And I went downtown to this one guy who rented scooters. It was like a 2-wheel scooter that you could rent. I don't know if you ever saw those vehicles that people can go and take a little scooter ride on those 2 wheels. And so I introduced him with the scooter that I had. And he was interested. He's like, well, I got, all this money invested on this 2-wheeler, but I'd like to buy this 3-wheeler from you. So I pulled in a guy to make the deal, and this guy was a banker. This guy actually called the Chinese company of the scooter, called his company, the 2-wheel scooter in Europe, and he partnership the corporations together. Europe and China on that deal. And made a couple $100,000. I mean, he almost made $1 million off the deal.
Wow.
I got a little portion of it. So you never know what happens when you are helping someone. their skill level might be more advanced. You know, I was trying to sell a simple scooter, and he brought these businesses together. He said, "Well, you both got a great product. Why don't you consolidate so this can be done in Europe and in America and China?" So names are pertinent. It definitely brings people to you because my name now has pretty much grown to a level where I'm used because it's a spiritual name for me.
Mm-hmm.
And my growth, it kind of means righteousness has no color.
Ah.
Because we all are in this color game. And I call it the lower frequency, lower dimensional living. Everybody's color. But the common name that we all have is this right. It's doing right. Feeling
Absolutely.
Doing right.
Absolutely.
It has no color.
That's true. Yeah. Righteousness has no color. Absolutely. Yes.
It's important. I've got a guy that took my name, Koofy. He did a song called On Top Like a Koofy.
Oh, see? Yeah, so great.
You know what I mean? So people will use your name to catapult them to a level, and it's up to you or it's up to me whether to say, you know what, stop doing that. I told him, say, hey, great job. I commend it. You know, it's going to add to my experience. You know what I mean?
Well, you know,
so I've had people use my name for a lot of times in a lot of situations. So that was my question to you. You don't want to go around suing people for your names and all that, but when you're growing, yes, some people you make yourself a target, and some people will use your name, try to get some of your attention, try to take away your success. I mean, there's happened to me various times, but I kind of shrug it off, laughed it off, and realized that I did have something powerful. If it wasn't so powerful, nobody else would use it. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, you know, one of the things Zoe said, Koofy, about when you choose a name, you have to think about, is this something that is already in use somewhere? Is it someone else's name? Like she said, you wouldn't come up with a company called Madonna, you know that that's a very famous person who's probably copyrighted her name. We know what happened with Prince, the whole conflict that he had with the record companies that wanted to own the rights to his name. So for a while, he removed himself from his name and created a symbol and said, okay, this is the symbol under which I do business, and didn't even have a pronunciation. It was a symbol.
The guy that made the guitar for Prince.
Yeah. So he had kind of a symbol that looked kind of like that guitar. Yeah.
That was my personal friend. He went backstage, knocked on the door, and Prince said, he's like, I got the guitar for Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And Prince said, oh yeah, let him in. He took the guitar. Prince took the guitar as a gift, used this symbol, and my friend sued him for $40 million. He ended up getting $10 million settlement for Prince using his symbol to change things. That was my personal friend, guy from Chicago.
Well,
okay, I'm back.
And you look at all those different things. Whatever you choose, is it any way connected to something someone else can say they created? And so that's why it's important to take your time when you're choosing a symbol. Now, of course, we are branding the name The Female Solution. We've got a logo, which we've included all of the people who have ever done shows with us, who've got shows in the archives, who've helped really to build the brand. And it's a multicolored symbol we've got on the screen here for those people who are watching. We're going to be selling products and creating a way that everybody whose face is on there gets a percentage of the sales because they've helped to build the brand. And there are actually 23 faces. Our brother who did that number 23, I'm sure he'd love that. But yes, there are 23 images of women who have helped build the Female Solution brand, all of the hosts and co-hosts and people who have helped to create what we've come to be known for, which we're constantly promoting love, global peace. We're constantly promoting sisterhood. So all of the things that we stand for, and self-empowerment, healing from past hurts, whether it be physical, mental, or emotional. So what we've built as a brand over these past 12 years is something that everybody has contributed to. So when it comes to how we're marketing this, we're making sure that everybody who's involved, when we market products with this symbol, that everybody who's on this symbol gets paid because they help to create the brand. And this is one of the ways that you ensure that you always do things fairly. If you're in any kind of way creating a business with other people, you have to make sure that you're fair about the distribution of profits.
If you look at successful people, and they're really only successful, like billionaires,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, 20 years later, the whole drama is coming down because they've used people to get to the top. They've used people to say, I'm the biggest, best one. And now all of a sudden, all these voices come out saying, no, he used me. He stole that from me. He stole this from me. He stole that from me. And I can call names on it's happening to a few people right now. Their whole conglomerate is falling down because they didn't take people with them.
Yes, that's an important thing to do.
Just take yeah. And so all those people be used or owe money to, all of them are voices like, hey, he took this, he took that, he took, and then next thing you know, this guy fled out of America. He's scared. He's trying to settle all these lawsuits, and so if my company is a company where I'm trying to gather people to enter a higher dimension of frequency.
Well, that's important.
That way you eliminate problems. You eliminate future issues.
Absolutely.
When you stay at a low frequency, you're constantly dealing with problems. You're constantly dealing with issues. But when you enter a higher frequency or a higher dimension, there is stability there where you're not dealing with those issues that most people are dealing with. You know what I mean? Get out of here.
Well, that's one of the things. If you brand yourself as someone who is spiritually based, that's great, because then that is what people will associate with you, with the name. Like you said, it's a head covering. It's all kind of ways you could benefit from that. Even creating, the kufi, with the head covering. We're gonna see if we can take a couple of more calls before we take a break. Thanks so much for sharing your experience and your insight about creating a business brand, and even making sure you protect that brand from others who might unauthorized in an unauthorized way use what you've created. Let's go to area code 334-895. I think we got the sound issue corrected, so we should be able to hear you now.
Oh, praise God, praise God, praise Mother God, praise Father God, praise Lord God Almighty, rejoice and be glad for all our blessings.
Yes, sir. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for your kind words. Yes. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I understand. I haven't had a lot of sleep for the last couple of days, been traveling and so forth. But what we basically talked about is creating a brand name for your company and creating a business entity under which you can operate. And the fact that a business is just basically something that you do that people pay you. And then you become an employer when you start paying people to help you do what you do. That's all it is. It's not that complicated, but we tend to think it's more complicated than it is. And so we stay in a state of dependency on other people who have created ideas that they're getting paid for and then hiring people to help them get paid. And we want to evolve out of that. So first step is coming up with a name. And we talked about creating a brand, whether it's something like Zoe talked about, a familiar name that people may have, or a familiar thing like Kufi talked about, or even your own name turned into an acronym like Minister Plum talked about. So that's the whole thing. We want to encourage people to create a business, even if you have a job. Always own something that you control and nobody can fire you from. When you have some other thing, it might start out as a side hustle or whatever it is, but it should be something that you like to do. And then you find a way for people to pay you for it because you're going to do well at it because you like to do it. And it's something that's needed. But you create a way for it to pay you so that you always have an income, even if something happens with your job. You're sometimes with some people it's just over broke. You get paid just enough to pay the bills and keep going back to work so you can pay more bills. Well, we don't want people to live like that. We want people to be independent, but you got to first think independence. Think and believe that you have the power to create. That's all of business is. It's part of our creativity. So we have up on the screen here the logo that we've revamped over time as we added different hosts. We've been on 12 years on the Female Solution. Started out with an audio channel, Blog Talk Radio. Started out half hour, and then it just kept growing. Grew to an hour, then to 2 hours, and 5 days a week to 7 days a week. One host to now 8 hosts. And over time, we've evolved and added the video element. So now we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube channels. And also you've got some that are on Instagram and TikTok. And we're constantly growing other audio channels. We're on the On Air network. We've got channels hooked up with Podbean, and we've got all kinds of ways that people can listen in. And if you go to our website, then you'll see all of the different ways that you can tune in every day to our shows. So the whole thing that we're seeking to do is to provide a means whereby we can be seen and heard all over the world. And when you are able to expand, then you can grow and include more people in your growth. So that's the brand that we've developed over time. So any idea can develop into a successful business. You just have to keep working at it. And then it also helps if you add people to your vision. So you had a vision of something that you'd like to create as a business, and maybe even what you'd like to call it.
Yes, yes. One of the businesses that I created license for one person to go ahead and license your business wherever location your body is um, with the local authorities, with the city and so forth, get your business license. It's called consulting like
Oh,
old toys
yes, see, yes. Now that's a good idea. Take off of the R Us brand with the toys, and it makes it memorable. And of course, because you're talking consultants, they can't say you can't use R Us because it's not the same name as theirs. So yeah, that's within your legal rights to use that particular brand name. So in consulting,
consultants.
so what would you be consulting people about? What's your specialty?
Well, minor in psychology, forensic psychology, but
Mm.
in terms of business, the supply part is using my procurement background when I was in the Air Force because they have purchased everything using a procurement background to sell and provide the Air Force with items. Anybody can do it. It's very,
Mm.
it's a business that's going to be there as long as whatever the government entity is there. It's by law, they got small business. So whether they buy toilet paper or whatever it is they buy, go through and put it through a bidding process of small businesses that can provide it for the best amount against the contract. So that's something that I plan to do. And so to speak, a negative business, not only to teach business, teach the other people, they also have something that can last because they also do services type contracts where people have to clean up those government buildings. And those contracts are very lucrative also. Uh, so therefore, that's basic. It's not that complicated, like you say. They try to make it sound, seem, other, I guess, people who don't competition, they make it sound very complicated. It seems like you can't do it. Like you're saying, anybody can do it. Just, you can see that you can achieve. Just start, you're doing it once again. Your business is spending everything the right way. So you don't have to worry about taxes and learning and everything else. What the laws are, it's learning the bylaws. Like learning the bylaws that you have to abide by, community or a certain area or certain, you know, knowing the law period. They catch up the laws next year. So learning the business laws and learning the local ways. And like you say, you can set up on the corner, sell peanuts, like business.
Yes.
If you can figure out a way to make money. Go and collaborate with people as part of Plum, like they collaborate with other people. That's called network. Network with other people, then you can make money together.
Absolutely. Yes, you can. That's the most powerful way to do it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insight. Absolutely.
One of the biggest contracts is the prison industry.
Oh,
That's all
yes, it
money. So at
is.
least you can
Yes, it
name
is.
that when those uniforms are made, that should be some little church group or co-op group that's from the community, our tax dollars. They should be demanding those contracts with us instead of across being sown in Guatemala or material. They'll say material from some so and so, but made and assembled someplace else where they've done for whatever they dollars they profit. So those contracts should be demanded by the people to say those contracts. See, I represent those contracts should be going right here in America to American people, whether it be church organizations or nonprofit organizations helping with education or whatever the case may be. Those contracts should be going right here. As
Yes.
everything is provided for representing the dollar spent on the prison industrial complex. So,
Yes. Yes.
that profit should be coming back home to taxpayers.
Well, I think that that's something we have to really take a look at, because that is a very lucrative business, and people are selling to the prison industry all the time. Everything from food service, where it's products, or it is clothing, or laundry service. A lot of things are done in house, but you have some company, somebody's selling them the detergent that they use to wash their clothes. Somebody's selling them the sheets that they use for the bed. Somebody's selling them everything that they use. And because it's an industry that's constantly growing, somebody is making more and more money. And you're right. Where is that money going to? Is it going to companies overseas? Is it going to the local residents who are in business? Who's getting paid? And that's the question. So that you've raised a very good issue. We're going to take our last break. And thank you so much, brother, for calling in and sharing your insight. As always, we appreciate you. And we'll be looking out for Consultants Are Us. Yes, we will. Thank you so much. And we'll be right back. Yes, sir. And we'll be right back after this quick break. I think we got another caller on the line, 312-632. We'll come to you after this. So if you're listening online and want to join this conversation, you can give us a call. 515-605-9325 or 727-731-5192. We are so excited to be constantly expanding. And as you can see with our Female Solution brand, we've got a fantastic team of hosts, and all of those past and present are present on this logo, which we are branding and creating products and creating a means where every single host who is on that logo can get paid when we sell cups and shirts and hats with that logo. So we want everybody who's ever helped to make this show a success to get paid. And that's what our brother just said. You include other people. You help others grow as well. And that is the key to success. It's always said, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. And that's what we want to do, is go far. So we're excited for all of those who help. And today, as we shop with Zoe, we take a look at all of the ways that you can begin to put together a business model for yourself so that you're always getting paid. And as you can see, if you're watching us, the Female Solution, I have a friend who came up with that logo and using the O's as the little female symbol. And so that's our brand. And we are grateful to be able to help others to get paid. So we urge you to go to our website, thefemalesolution.com, and go to Prosperity Partners and sign up to get paid to promote the products and programs, because we want to share the wealth. We always say we can end crime and violence. All we have to do is share. So that's what the Female Solution is all about. And we want to share with you. So it's always a pleasure to hear from our listening and viewing audience, because that's what makes this show a success. And we like to also include those who are using their platforms, whatever it may be, to bring some knowledge, some inspiration, and some power. And we're excited that one of our past hosts is stepping up to the plate when it comes to making decisions and being someone that impacts lives as a judge. And right here in Cook County, we have one who is running for judge, someone you need to know. And we want you, if you're in Cook County, to be a part of the upcoming election for judge. Vote and punch 148 for Miss Attorney Wendy Williams. Dear residents of Chicago, Cook County, with great excitement, I announce that I am your candidate for full circuit Cook County judge for this Democratic primary, March 19th, 2024. As a seasoned lawyer, I am a proud native of Chicago, Cook County, a product of Longwood Academy of Our Lady, Olive Harvey Chicago City College, Roosevelt University, and the University of Denver College of Law. With over 25 years of experience in criminal and civil matters, that equips me to handle the challenges that come with the role of full circuit Cook County judge. I am dedicated to ensuring that as a judge, all individuals are treated with fairness and consideration. Many community members and colleagues who trust my legal insight, intuition, have recommended me for legal work and recruited me for pro bono work and community service programs. They know I listen. Humbly and respectfully, I ask for your support. Thank you. Now share with neighbors, family, and friends. Punch 148. Elect Democratic candidate Miss Wendy Williams for judge, March 19th, 2024. Paid for by Wendy Williams for judge. I am Wendy Williams, and I approve of this message. Yes, Wendy Williams for judge. Well, if you're in and around Cook County, you will be participating in the upcoming election, and we urge you to do your civic duty and pay attention to when the elections are coming up so you can vote. You're giving your confidence to those who are making decisions that affect lives. And if you have listened to the Female Solution, you know that attorney Wendy Williams gave some really great insight as a family law attorney, a criminal attorney. She gave some great advice on those who are getting involved in relationships, because marriage is a business. And just like we're talking about being careful who you involve in your business, if you don't properly vet your potential spouse, you're going to have some problems and end up in court and going through a lot of pain. So she did a great series here on the Female Solution on making sure that your intended person is fit to be in a relationship. We know that the courts are full of families falling apart and fighting each other. So it's important to know how to explore the person that you're considering. And she gave great advice on that. Signs to look for. And as a judge, of course, judges decide what's going to happen in the outcome of any dispute. So this is one of the things that we look at in the process of building a business. You don't want to end up having to go to court to get paid because you entered into an agreement with someone. I think one of our callers mentioned earlier. Oh no, our host Zoe mentioned earlier. Don't get into a verbal agreement when you're in business. Everything needs to be put in writing so that there's never a dispute. If you have verbal agreements and then either the person you hire doesn't do what you asked, or the person who had you do something doesn't pay you, it's a real mess. And if you ever watch some of the judge shows, like whether it's Judge Judy or Judge Greg Mathis or whoever your favorite judge show is, you see they're always saying, show me the contract, show me the receipts, show me the paperwork, because that's what it's about. What did you write down that you agreed to do? What did you write down that you agreed to pay? What are the terms? That's one of the first things that we have to do. And we'll talk about the paperwork issue on one of our Shop with Zoe shows, because everything is about what you have written down that indicates what you're going to do. It doesn't matter if it's electronically written or written on a piece of paper. There needs to be some words that describe what the agreement is. So if you say that the person didn't follow through with what they promised, at least you both can look at the written words and say, what is it that you did promise? Contracts should follow everything that you do in business. And most of the time, when you find people suing each other, it's because what they wrote down was either not read and interpreted properly by both people, or what they agreed to wasn't written down at all. And so they disagreed as to what the agreement is. But if you have to take legal steps, like we say, you don't want your personal name attached to something that has to stand alone, such as a business. It has to be its own separate entity. That's the ideal. So if you're going to sue, say, let's say Morton Salt Company, and everybody remembers that the salt company with the little girl, and she's carrying and the salt is dripping, got the box. I mean, you remember that old symbol? Everybody knows that. Well, we don't know who Morton is, though. We don't know if that's the person who founded the company's family name. We don't know who that is, but we know that's an entity. And the people who might be investors, you don't know who they are. So if you want to say, well, this salt made me sick. Well, I'm not saying that, Morton, don't get upset. I'm just saying, I'm just using you as an example. But if you were to do that, you don't know who the individuals are. And it's the company that would be probably represented by a lawyer in court, because the people who may own that company are going to protect themselves. They're going to protect their own personal property. They're going to protect their own personal name. Because sometimes a company does have to represent itself in court. I mean, if you were going to sue any company, and if you needed to file a lawsuit, you would have the company name. Now, the court eventually, sometimes the people involved have to step forward, but a lot of times it's difficult to sue a company because you don't know who the individuals are. So when you're signing a contract, whoever signs a contract is somebody who's legally authorized to represent the company. And that's who would represent them if you ever had to go to court. But having a company name that is the brand for your company is a way to be public without you personally being public. And like we mentioned, you have some entertainers who their name itself is their company brand, and you can't use their name. You probably can't call your, new dress design Madonna. You probably can't do that because that's her name, and she probably owns the rights to that name. And Prince eventually did get the rights back to his name because he began operating as Prince. I think whenever that period was over, when the companies that were trying to own and control his music, whenever their time was up for them to own the rights to that name, then he went back to using his name. So what's in the name is very important. So we're going to take another call. And if you're listening online, we appreciate you being part of this global family, because every day, and we consider this the morning think tank, every day we address issues and provide solutions. And on Shop with Zoe, we specifically focus on business because commerce is really what makes the world go around, but you have to participate in it and not just wait for it to come to you. And if you're waiting for a job, that means you're waiting and not creating. And we want you to create so that you can participate and help circulate the money. So let's go to area code 312-632, Grand Rising. Yeah, it's Admiral Nelson Bay. How are you today?
I'm doing great, sister.
Wonderful.
Speaking of the Harriet Tubman faced 1/50th troy ounce Aurum United States note, a verified gold-backed legal tender for all debts, public and private, pursuant to a passage and ratification of U.S. House Resolution 2435 under 18th Congress, the Gold Standard Restoration Act, and to define the dollar as a fixed weight of gold and for other purposes. You know, I want your image, Naima Latif, holographically infused with Your Majesty, that sister from Denver, Colorado. Remember I said she's half Palladian and she's the real deal?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did.
It's Your Majesty Najah Millennium Queen Elohim, self-styled Empress of Heaven and Earth and the Holy Spirit, flesh, blood, and bone. She has a birthmark on her leg that is going to be a sigil over the actual picture of Harriet Tubman on the obverse side, along with a Andrew Jackson composite with the White House to show that it's legal tender issued by Federated State Bank of North America. U.S. Federal Reserve System will have absolutely nothing else to do with this. You see, the standard is going to be 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold. There's a company called Goldback. Goldback.com is the website, and verifiedgoldbacks.com is the website for Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, who is in partnership of sorts with Man Goldback. But we're getting the gold from a global debt facility, which is administered by the controller of the United Nations Office of International Treasury Control, His Excellency Dr. Ray C. Dow, who, by the way, is not a Zionist, and he cannot be compromised in any way, shape, or form.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes, and that's who I'm going to get the gold from to coin, because these Aurum notes, AURUM, which is gold in Latin, Aurum U.S. note, which shall be deemed legal tender, just like the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, $100 bills issued by the Reserve System, which is going to just taper off into oblivion. It's going to be replaced by this parallel economy, this parallel quantum financial system, which is going to be there as a safety net for people who are poised to be ill affected by the devaluation of the current U.S. Federal Reserve currency dollar that we've all come to know and think is going to be around forever. It's not.
Well, hold that thought for a second, because I want to address that for a moment, because a lot of people are in a state of panic over what may happen to the financial system. When it was talked about that paper money was going to be phased out, and then everybody was getting the bank cards, you had some people who panicked about that, wouldn't get a bank card, didn't trust electronic banking. We talked about that a little bit last week. Well, okay, paper money is being phased out. Are we falling apart? No. The whole thing about buying and selling and trading in business is that you don't really need a symbol to do it. We do it out of what is convenient. You know, I might have something you want, but you might not have something I want. So I'm going to give you something so that it represents a certain value, and you can take that to somebody who has something that you want. That's all money is. We can make that symbol whatever we want, whatever we collectively agree that it is. And nobody owns what that symbol is. The government doesn't own it. The people own it. As soon as we figure that out, then we'll stop worrying about that. Now, you mentioned the Harriet Tubman bill. And I mean, it's a great symbol. This is a woman who at one point had a price on her head that she was going to be captured and sold back into slavery. Now she's being honored as a symbol of commerce. And I guess the compromise that they had to have one of the other people on the other side of the dollar bill, but that's okay. Eventually we'll have those $20 notes with Harriet Tubman on it, even as they're phasing out paper money. So I would advise people to hold on to that once you get one, because it's probably going to be very valuable at some point in the future. But even, and you've mentioned a couple of times, coming up with some various systems of commerce, some various symbols, whether it's gold or a certain kind of credit card or whatever. And you have the power to do that. And we should understand that we do have the power to create a symbol of exchange. And if enough people agree to it, then it becomes a symbol of exchange. So we shouldn't fear whatever is being removed as a symbol, whether it's paper or any other symbol that we have been using, because anybody can create a symbol of commerce. And if enough people agree to use that symbol, then it becomes our source of money. Nobody can eliminate money, and nobody can make money inaccessible. Everybody has the power to create, and that's all we need to do. So thank you for your input. We've got another caller. We're going to be able to squeeze in area code 706-202 Grand Rising. Give us your name, where you're calling from, and your comment today about business and creating your brand name.
Admiral Pay. The thing is, you understand what's yours, but everybody uses it more than you do.
Your name.
There you go.
Yes.
They're phasing out the fiat, and the part of the fiat is they want to follow your transaction. Because once you had $100, nobody knows what you bought. But now, when you get $100 and you go spend it out, they know what you have transacted with that currency. They now have control in keeping a watch on here on the line and in the world. Arguably, John Rudolph writes in Abundance, writes that MONEY my own natural energy heals. And understanding you are your currency.
Yes.
Because whenever you use your heart and your mind, is your money.
That's right.
And so, in being able to come out of this illusion that began to go, once upon a time, there was no currency that we had to use. It only happened when invaders came in. This is our system, and this is what you have to do to get what we have in order for you to become unwilled of yourself. And that was a form of capture. And so, as long as we allow the system to keep us in captivity, then we will be under their control. control and not having know that I'll yield.
Nice. Well, thank you so very much. Yes, you are right. What we have, everything from our cell phones to the banking system that requires us to use a credit or debit card, it's a tracking system. And this tracks what we buy, what our habits are, as well as where we are when we buy it. So, but we shouldn't panic about that, because so what? You know where I am. So, and then what? So yes, that is happening, but still it doesn't empower anyone to do anything negatively to us. So we shouldn't fear what is happening. It is true. Like Baba Kwame said, it is a tracking system. And this is why they want everybody connected to the banks in that manner, so that they can track your buying habits, track your motion habits, track where you are. If our intention is right, then we can actually use these systems for our benefit and to create a peaceful environment if our intentions are right. So we thank you so much, Papa Kwame, and we want to
One last part that they call this the human body is water. In the ocean of life and traveling, you always come out of the water and you have to come and stand on the bank.
Mm.
And you understand your power. You are money you need.
That's right. You are the money. Thank you so much. And we want to remind people to join us tomorrow. Join Viata on Health and Well-Being with Viata, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Central Time for a complete wellness checkup. So be here right on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and as always, we appreciate all of you for being a part of the solution. We're going to once again greet our global family as we connect with people all around the world.
Hope Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Zdravstvutie. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network. Call 727-731-5192. We want to talk